Okay, so good morning friends. In the last lecture, we started discussion on transport in plants or plant-water relation. Water is important solvent, it is essential for physiological activities, physiological processes. In the last lecture, in short, I will synopsis or summarize the last lecture in short, very short. Capillary water is the usable water by plant. Plant roots absorbs only capillary water. Imbibitional water is called hygroscopic water. Root hairs are ephemeral, and the transport of water, materials, movement of gases, etc. in plants takes place by involving three important steps. That is, number 1, imbibition, number 2, diffusion, number 3, osmosis. Okay, we are discussing about osmosis, diffusion, imbibition, then diffusion, and one more, that is osmosis. Imbibition is the first important step involved in the translocation of materials. Imbibition means the swelling of seeds or swelling of seeds or cell when placed in water till an equilibrium is reached or till the hydrophilic colloids become fully solar. In the last lecture, I told you that the warping of doors or the warping of wooden windows is because of imbibition. So, imbibition permits the entry of water inside the cell. Then second important step, diffusion. Diffusion involves the movement of gases, liquids, etc. from its higher concentration to lower concentration. Diffusion is a simple process and it do not requires any kind of expenditure of energy. No energy is required for diffusion process. Diffusion involves movement of materials from its higher concentration to lower without utilizing energy. Okay, so it is the simple process. Okay, right. Then when water enters inside the cell, last lecture, the cell becomes fully swollen. Fully swollen cell is called as a turgid cell. The turgidity of the cell is maintained by pressure called as turgor pressure. What is turgor pressure? A fully swollen cell creates a tension called as a TP or turgor pressure. Turgor pressure is developed by the cytoplasm and it is exerted on the cell wall. That is why cell wall also become shaky. Yesterday we discussed that. Therefore, the cell wall also exerts an equal but opposite pressure called as wall pressure. Hence, the value of TP is equal to WP. Turgor pressure is always equal to wall pressure. Okay, right. Then one more term we discussed yesterday, that is what is DPD. DPD is called as water potential. DPD is called as water potential. It is denoted by letter psi and that is Pascal. Pascal is the unit of measurement of water potential. Due to an entry of water inside the cell, its DPD decreases. Due to an entry of water inside the cell, its DPD decreases. Therefore, the DPD of fully swollen cell is always said to be 0. So, we already discussed the same in the last lecture. So, DPD of fully swollen cell is always said to be 0. The DPD of an empty cell is 100%. The DPD of fully swollen cell is always 0 and 0. Okay. Due to an entry of water inside the cell, the DPD of the cell certainly decreases. So, diffusion is simple process. It do not requires any kind of energy. No energy is required for diffusion. Inspiration, breathing in a man, expiration, inhalation, exhalation is also simple, that is a diffusion process. Transpiration in plant is also an example of diffusion process. By transpiration, excess water from the body of plant is released in the external environment. This is also a simple kind of diffusion. So diffusion do not consume any kind of energy. Okay. But when there is a need to transport the material from lower concentration to higher concentration, when there is need to transport the materials from lower concentration to higher concentration, lower region to higher region, then this kind of transport is called as uphill transport. Okay, this kind of transport is called as uphill transport, and uphill transports requires consumption of energy. Okay, one more time. Diffusion do not require consumption of energy. It is simple process. It is the cheap, CHEAP, cheap process which completes without the expenditure of energy. But till there is diffusion of some materials, when takes place from its lower region to that of higher region, certainly it consumes energy. This kind of transport is called as simply uphill transport. Uphill transports helps in the transport of materials from lower concentration to higher concentration, and this kind of transport requires consumption of energy. Now, what is the difference between, now listen very carefully, what is the difference between simple diffusion and facilitated diffusion? Okay, what is simple diffusion and one more, that is facilitated diffusion. Facilitated diffusion is different from that of simple diffusion. Facilitated diffusion means a kind of diffusion which is because of some carrier proteins. जे डिफ्यूजन घडवून आणलं जातं, ज्या डिफ्यूजनच्या पद्धतीमध्ये कोणते ना कोणते कॅरियर प्रोटीन्स पार्टिसिपेट होतात आणि जे डिफ्यूजन कॅरियर प्रोटीनच्या मदतीनं घडवून आणलं जातं, अशा काइंडच्या डिफ्यूजनला तुम्ही नाव देऊन टाकाल फॅसिलिटेटेड, घडवून आणलेलं डिफ्यूजन. ओके, नाउ important. Okay, how this diffusion can take place? Friends, diffusion occurs through the cell membrane. Diffusion takes place from one cell to another cell across the cell membrane. Okay, for example, here one important cell, so there is movement of materials takes place from outside of the cell to inside the cell. When the movement of materials takes place from outside to inside via across cell membrane or plasma membrane, for the same cell or plasma membrane is required. Okay, right? But what is actually facilitated diffusion? Friends, cell membrane is made up of lipids. Cell membrane is made up of lipids. Lipids are called as fats. Cell membrane is made up of lipids, or cell membrane is composed of fats. So therefore, it is very simple, easy to allow the transport of such molecules which can easily dissolve in the fats. Fat soluble molecules can easily pass across the cell membrane Because cell membrane is lipophilic, cell membrane is lipid composed of lipid, and those compounds which are lipid loving can easily pass through the cell membrane, while those which are hydrophilic, they will not going to pass through the cell membrane. Okay, cell membrane is made up of lipids, cell membrane fats composition आहे, cell membrane fats नी बनले, म्हणून एखाद्या लिपिडच्या मॉलिक्यूलचं ट्रान्सपोर्ट एकदम सोप्या पद्धतीने होईल, म्हणून फॅट्सचं ट्रान्सपोर्ट सोपं जाईल. रिझन सिंपल आहे, सेल मेम्ब्रेन फॅटनी बनले, म्हणून फॅटवाले मॉलिक्यूल्स सेल मेम्ब्रेन पासून खूप लवकर डिफ्यूज होतील. तर जे मॉलिक्यूल्स वॉटर लविंग आहेत, जे मॉलिक्यूल्स कोणते आहेत, वॉटर लविंग, मीन्स दीज आर हायड्रोफिलिक, or these are lipophobic. Hydrophilic, they are water loving, means they are lipid hitting, found to be very difficult to pass through the cell membrane. Water soluble molecules will very difficult to pass through the cell membrane. Friends, ज्या अर्थे सेल मेम्ब्रेन हे लिपोफिलिक आहे, फॅटनी बनलेलं आहे, त्यामुळं लिपिडवर प्रेम करणारे, लिपिडमध्ये सोल्युबल असणारे मॉलिक्यूल्स हे खूप लवकर तात्काळ सेल मेम्ब्रेन पासून सेलच्या इनसाइड जाऊ शकतात. परंतु जे मॉलिक्यूल्स वॉटर लविंग आहेत किंवा लिपिड हेटिंग आहेत, फाउंड टू बी व्हेरी डिफिकल्ट टू पास थ्रू द सेल मेम्ब्रेन. आणि जे मॉलिक्यूल्स जी वॉटरमध्ये डिझॉल्व होता पण लिपिडमध्ये डिझॉल्व होत नाही, अशा मॉलिक्यूल्सला सेल मेम्ब्रेन थ्रू पास होणं सोपं नाही. ओके, राईट. दॅट्स वाय ते पास होणार नाही असं नाही. दे विल ऑल्सो गोइंग टू एंटर, but that's why for the diffusion of water loving substances special proteins are required called as carrier proteins. What are carrier proteins? Carrier proteins are those proteins which are present on the cell membrane. What are carrier proteins? Carrier proteins are present on the cell membrane. Carrier proteins are the specialized proteins required for the diffusion of hydrophilic substances. Carrier proteins are the specialized proteins. They permit the movement of water loving substances. Okay, one more time. So through the cell membrane, as the membrane is made up of lipid, the water soluble compounds will not pass. On the other hand, fat or lipid soluble compound will pass. Okay, but it is found to be very difficult to permit the movement of hydrophilic substances. But till the diffusion of hydrophilic substances takes place against the concentration gradient due to involvement of some specialized proteins, such proteins are called as carrier proteins. Friends, carrier proteins हे सेल मेम्ब्रेन वर प्रेझेंट असतात आणि त्या कॅरियर प्रोटीनचं काम आहे की जे वॉटर लविंग सबस्टन्सेस आहेत, वॉटर लविंग सबस्टन्सेसला सेल मेम्ब्रेन लिपोफिलिक असल्यामुळं सहजासहजी एंट्री आतमध्ये सेलच्या होऊ देणार नाही आहे. परंतु तरीसुद्धा अशा वॉटर लविंग सबस्टन्सेसचं आतमध्ये सेलच्या मूव्हमेंट करण्यासाठी काही स्पेशलाइज्ड प्रोटीन्स अवेलेबल आहेत सेल मेम्ब्रेनवर. दे हेल्प्स in the transport of water loving substances or lipophobic substances. Okay, then for how much time the transport will continue? Okay, the transport of water loving substances across the cell membrane will continue till all carrier proteins are used, till all carrier proteins are used. One more time, the movement of the diffusion of hydrophilic substances, will occur till all carrier proteins are used or saturation level is achieved. तर जोपर्यंत सर्व कॅरियर प्रोटीनचा वापर केला जात नाही तोपर्यंत फॅसिलिटेटेड डिफ्युजन हे कंटिन्युअस असेल. ज्या वेळेस सर्व कॅरियर प्रोटीनचा वापर वापरले जातील त्यावेळेस मात्र ऑटोमॅटिकली हे डिफ्युजन थांबल. ओके, राईट. देन in case of this diffusion, smaller is the size of molecules to diffuse. ज्या मॉलिक्यूलचं डिफ्युजन व्हायचंय त्यांची साईज जितकी स्मॉल, ग्रेटर is the rate of diffusion. Smaller sized particles can diffuse more fastly. Smaller sized particles can be diffused more rapidly than that of larger particles. Therefore, smaller is the size of particle, faster is the rate of movement. Small sized particles can move fastly, while that of bigger molecules can pass slowly. Okay, right. So one more time, highlights. Facilitated diffusion is mainly applicable, useful in the transport of hydrophilic substances. Hydrophilic substances found to be very difficult to pass across the cell membrane because cell membrane is lipophilic. That's why some specialized proteins are required called as carrier proteins. Carrier proteins helps in the transmission of such hydrophilic substances, and the movement of hydrophilic substances inside the cell is made more and more easier. Okay, the movement of these materials will take place, molecules will occur till all the carrier proteins are used, and the smaller is the size of molecules, greater are the chances of its diffusion, or the speed of diffusion will be more. The speed of diffusion will be more when small sized particles are going to move through the cell membrane. Okay, right. Now next, how exactly the diffusion takes place through the cell membrane. Diffusion inside the cell, for example, cell membrane. Okay, this region outside the cell, here up to this cell membrane, enlarged view of cell membrane. Okay, so cell membrane, this portion outside the cell, this region inside the cell, outside the cell, inside the cell, and this is cell membrane. Okay, but the diffusion of hydrophilic substances, requires the help of important proteins. Such proteins are called as carrier proteins. What are carrier proteins? Carrier proteins are the specialized proteins. They forms pores. They possesses minute pores, pores. The function of carrier protein is to make the movement of hydrophilic substances, moiety, more easier across the cell membrane. Therefore, the cell membrane can be easily permit the movement of hydrophilic substances. For example, these are the molecules which are going to pass through the carrier proteins. This molecule remain bound to the carrier protein. Carrier protein permits the movement of this molecule from outside the cell into the inside the cell, and the movement of molecule takes place from outside to inside. The same process will continue till all transporters are used. Till all carrier proteins are used, the molecules are easily transported across the cell membrane. Okay, fine. Now, the diffusion is further classified into three important types. Diffusion is further classified into three important patterns, or there are three important types of diffusion. Okay, right. Number one, in the first सेम आपण पेन यूज करू कलर. Diffusion on the basis of transport of materials is classified into three types. Okay, again cell membrane. These red colored are carrier proteins. And on the basis of the transport, there are three types. Types of diffusion or transport. Okay, number one, first is called as, first type is called as symport. First is called as SYMPORT. What is symport? Symport is a kind of diffusion pattern. In case of symport, both A molecule and B molecule, if these are the two molecules, both A and B can be diffused at the same time in one direction. In case of symport, both A and B molecules can be diffused across the cell membrane through the carrier proteins in the same direction. ज्या डिफ्युजनच्या पद्धतीमध्ये A आणि B दोन मॉलिक्यूलचं डिफ्युजन सेल मेम्ब्रेन थ्रू एकाच डायरेक्शन मध्ये होईल, अशा प्रकारच्या डिफ्युजनला सिम्पोर्ट असं म्हटलं जातं. Symport is a kind of diffusion in which both A and B molecules can be easily diffused across the cell membrane through the carrier protein only in one direction. Okay, next, second pattern is called as antiport. Is called as antiport. What is antiport? Antiport is a kind of transport in which the diffusion of both, that is A and B molecules, takes place in opposite direction. They may ask you in NEET exam, important. For NEET, anyone may be asked, important. In the previous exam, they already put question on the same. Okay, right. When both molecules A and B are carried from one plane, one direction through the cell membrane called as symport. When both A and B are carried in opposite direction called as antiport, and when there is the diffusion of only one molecule. When there is the diffusion of only one molecule called as uniport. In case of uniport transport, the diffusion of only one molecule takes place. In case of uniport, the diffusion of only one molecule in unidirectional manner. In symport, the diffusion of both molecules in one direction. In antiport, both the molecules can pass in opposite manner. Okay, right. Now next. So clear आत्तापर्यंत परत एकदा diffusion takes place through cell membrane, no energy, but from lower to higher it requires energy. Diffusion takes place from higher to lower. Lower to higher is called as osmosis. We will discuss on the same, then the concept will be more clear again. Cell membrane is made up of lipids. Lipophilic molecules can pass, found to be difficult to pass by through to the hydrophilic molecules through cell membrane. So carrier proteins are required. Size of diffusion molecules when small, rate of diffusion will be more faster. It depends upon concentration gradient, tension, pressure across the cell membrane as well. Okay, the diffusion will occur till all carrier proteins are used. When movement of two molecules, different molecules takes place in one direction through the carrier protein called as symport. When the movement of two different molecules in different direction is called as antiport, and the movement of only single in one direction is called as uniport. Okay. When the diffusion takes place from lower to higher, it requires expenditure of energy. Okay. And one more, that is the final step involved in the process of transport is called as osmosis. Osmosis. What is osmosis? Osmosis is a kind of diffusion. Okay. So one more time, concentrate here. Osmosis is a kind of diffusion in which the movement of molecules takes place from lower region concentration to higher region or concentration, or from weaker region to the stronger region. Osmosis is the reverse of diffusion. Osmosis is the reverse of diffusion, and in case of osmosis, the movement of materials takes place from its lower concentration to the higher concentration. But the process which permits the movement of molecules is called diffusion. Okay, the process which permits the movement of molecule is called diffusion. Therefore, osmosis is the diffusion of molecules from its lower region to higher region. Okay, right. Then again we will discuss the same in the detail, right. So let us focus one more time. Osmosis is further classified into two. Number one, endosmosis. First kind is called as endosmosis. What is endosmosis? When any cell is placed in certain external solution. When any cell is placed in certain external solution, okay, हा cell दाखवते आपण, this cell, when a cell is placed in certain external solution, the movement of water takes place, or the solution takes place inside the cell. As a result, the shape and the size of the cell increases. When cell is placed in certain external solution, but that external solution should be hypotonic. The external solution should be hypotonic. Hypotonic is dilute. Water is hypotonic. When any cell is placed in certain external solution or hypotonic solution, it increases its shape and size. The process involved is called as endosmosis. Okay, a cell now fully swollen cell, that is A dash cell. Okay, so काय मिळते आपल्याला conditions? When a cell is placed in hypotonic solution, increases its shape and size and become turgid and may burst. If the same continues, a cell may burst. Okay, they may ask you question for NEET. Question for NEET: what will happen? What will happen when a cell is placed in hypotonic solution? Answer: it will get burst. They may ask you question: what will happen when RBCs, human RBCs, are immersed in hypotonic solution? When RBCs are immersed in hypotonic solution, they will burst. Hypotonic solution is dilute solution. Hypotonic solution increases the shape and size of the cell till the entry continues, till endosmosis takes place. There is utmost chance of getting the cell to be rupture. Okay, right. Then if the dried pieces, slices of a cucumber, okay, when the dried slices of cucumber, काकडीचे केलेले छोटाले काप वाळलेले, if placed in water or dilute solution, the entry of water takes place, endosmosis occurs and they again become turgid, called as endosmosis. Then what is exosmosis? What is exosmosis? Exosmosis is one more second important step involved in osmosis. Exosmosis means when any cell is placed in, when any cell is placed in certain external solution. Okay, that external solution is now concentrated, okay, or hypertonic. When any cell is placed in concentrated or hypertonic solution, कोणताही सेल कॉन्सन्ट्रेटेड किंवा हायपरटॉनिक सोल्युशन मध्ये टाकला, then it shrinks, it become flaccid, it shrinks. When a cell is placed in concentrated or hypertonic solution, it shrinks, it becomes flaccid, called as exosmosis, by allowing the oozing of water from the cell. When cell is placed in hypotonic, entry of water, minerals, materials, etc. takes place inside the cell. When the same cell is placed in hypertonic solution, oozing of materials takes place outside the cell and the cell shrinks automatically. It decreases in its shape and size. Okay, for example, it's a B, so here B dash. Okay, cell become flaccid, right? So again, for example, neat question: what will happen when a cell is placed in hypertonic solution? It will shrink. It will shrink. What will happen when grapes are immersed? GRAPES. Grapes are immersed in hypertonic solution, they will shrink. What will happen when human RBCs are immersed in hypertonic solution? They will automatically shrink due to exosmosis. Okay, right. Exosmosis is also called as plasmolysis. Exosmosis is also called as plasmolysis. What is exosmosis? Exosmosis is simply called as plasmolysis. Okay, when the movement of materials takes place inside the cell, endosmosis, outside the cell, exosmosis, but exosmosis is also called as plasmolysis. Plasmo, cytoplasm, lysis, oozing out. The oozing of cytoplasm from the cell is called as exosmosis or plasmolysis, means the entry of materials inside the cell is called as deplasmolysis. The entry of materials inside the cell is called as plasmolysis. Endosmosis is equal to deplasmolysis. Exosmosis is equal to plasmolysis. Exosmosis is equal to plasmolysis. Endosmosis is equal to, therefore, deplasmolysis. Question for NEET. A plasmolyzed cell. A plasmolyzed cell can be deplasmolyzed. Can be deplasmolyzed by putting it in dash solution. A plasmolyzed means exosmosis. ज्या सेलचं काय झालंय, श्रिंक झाला. ए प्लाझ्मोलाइज्ड सेल ज्याचं एक्झॉस्मॉसिस झालं. फॉर एक्झाम्पल, व्हेन द स्लाइसेस ऑफ cucumber are placed in a dish and if we add a pinch of salt, the oozing of water takes place from that slices is nothing but exosmosis. The water is released from the pieces of pickles during the preparation of pickles when salt is added. एक्झॉस्मॉसिस. लोणचं बनवत असताना आचार प्रिपरेशनच्या वेळेस तुम्ही कैरीचे जे काप आहेत त्याच्यामध्ये मीठ टाकता, विच कॉजेस एक्झॉस्मॉसिस. त्यामुळे तर लोणच्याला पाणी सुटते. ओके. सो ए प्लाझ्मोलाइज्ड सेल, ज्याचं काय झालं एक्झॉस्मॉसिस. जो सेल कसा झाला श्रिंक. ए प्लाझ्मोलाइज्ड सेल कॅन बी डीप्लाझ्मोलाइज्ड. हा सेल कोणता झाला प्लाझ्मोलाइज्ड. A plasmolized cell can be again deplasmolized by putting it in certainly hypotonic solution. A plasmolized shrink cell can be again made turgid certainly by putting it in hypotonic solution. Okay, right, called as deplasmolysis, or deplasmolysis is also called as endosmosis. Okay, deplasmolysis is also called as endosmosis. Right, now next some questions, objectives. They may ask for different kinds of exams, theoretical course, objectives, CET, NEET, etc. Number 1, why at the time of preparation of pickles salt is added? पिकल्स लोणचं आचार, लोणचं आचार बनवताना त्याच्यामध्ये सॉल्ट का टाकायची? आन्सर, सॉल्ट कॉजेस एक्झॉस्मॉसिस and therefore dehydration, that is oozing of water, takes place from the food, and you know that any food which contains water spoils easily. When a food contains more water, more are the chances of its spoilage. What is the function of salt? Salt is used as preservatives. Why are they used as preservatives? Because they causes dehydration, they causes exosmosis, they causes oozing out of water from the food, and when water ooze out from the food, certainly its shelf life increases. Okay, right? For example, HSC related, why cooked rice spoils easily than raw rice? Why cooked rice spoils easily than raw rice? Reason simple, because cooked rice contains water. Okay, cooked rice contains water, hence it spoils easily than raw rice. Why then preparation of, at the time of preparation of pickles, salt is added? Because salt causes exosmosis, therefore dehydration takes place from the pieces of the mango, raw mango. The water will ooze out, and when the food is free from the water, when exosmosis will occur, certainly salt is used as preservative and it increases the chances of survival, shelf life of the food. Okay, right. Next, so again, why during the preparation of jams and jellies, sugar is added? Again reason same, sugar is also used as preservative. Sugar is also used as a preservative. Sugar is also a dehydrating agent. Sugar is also a dehydrating agent. Therefore, during the preparation of jams and jellies, sugar is added because again sugar causes oozing out water from the food, and when the water will ooze from the food or when exosmosis will occur, certainly due to the freedom from the water, the chances of again shelf life of the food, we can store the food for longer period, its perishable value, perishable, getting bad easily, decreases. Perishable value, spoilage. Food spoilage can be nasana prevented with the help of salt and sugar, both causes exosmosis. Okay, right. Then one more question, number 3. 1, 2 and now 3. Why excess use of chemical fertilizers is not advisable? Why excess use of chemical fertilizers is not advisable? Chemical fertilizers are, number 1, not eco-friendly. Chemical fertilizers when used in excess will cause again exosmosis, oozing out water from the root takes place, oozing out of water from the root takes place. It will cause wilting, drying of the root and causes death of the plant. It will cause death of the plant. When chemical fertilizers are used in excess, certainly exosmosis will occur, oozing out of water takes place from the root, it will lead to exosmosis. Okay, right. Now next. So आतापर्यंत आपण 3 important steps discuss केल्या concerned with transport of materials. Number 1, imbibition. Number 2, diffusion. Number 3, osmosis. Osmosis is also maintained by pressure. That pressure is called as osmotic pressure. What is osmotic pressure? Osmotic pressure is required for the maintenance of osmosis. And now last, the movement of materials takes place by involving 2 important steps. The transport of materials is because of 2 important steps. Number 1, apoplast pathway, and one more, that is symplast pathway, neat seat IMP. Okay, apoplast pathway and one more symplast pathway. When the movement of materials takes place from one cell to another cell through intercellular spaces, or through vacuolar tonoplast membrane. called apoplast pathway. What is apoplast? Okay, मी एक्सप्लेन करतो आता. When the movement of materials takes place from A cell to B cell, here two cells, that is A and B. When the movement of materials takes place from cell A to B through, so this is going to pass molecule from A to B through intercellular spaces. When the movement of materials takes place from A cell to B cell through intercellular spaces is called simply apoplast. Okay. Or when the movement of materials takes place from A cell to B cell through the vacuole. Vacuoles are the important cell organelles, and the membrane of vacuole is called as tonoplast. What is tonoplast? Tonoplast is the membrane of vacuole. What is the function of tonoplast? Tonoplast is semi-permeable. It permits the movement of materials. So when the movement of materials takes place from one cell to another cell through the vacuolar tonoplast pathway or intercellular spaces is called as apoplast pathway. Number 2, symplast. What is symplast? In case of symplast pathway, the movement of materials, molecules, takes place from one cell to another cell. In case of symplast pathway, the movement of materials takes place from one cell to neighboring adjacent cell through the minute pores present on the cell wall, cell membrane, called as plasmodesmata. What are plasmodesmata? Plasmodesmata are the minute pores present on the cell wall, and when the movement of materials takes place from one cell to another cell through the minute pores, that is plasmodesmata, called as symplast pathway. त्या pathwayला तुम्ही काय म्हणाल? Symplast. Means simple काय येते? Apoplast means intercellular space or symplast means plasmodesmata. Okay. In symplast, movement occurs through plasmodesmata. When the movement of materials takes place from one cell to another neighboring cell through the plasmodesmata, called as a symplast pathway. ह्या पाथवेला नाव काय देऊन टाकाल? Symplast. Okay, fine. Now, in symplast pathway, when the movement takes place from one cell to another cell, for example, a root here absorbs capillary water. Now it is very clear, last lecture. When root hairs absorbs capillary water, the movement takes place from one cell to another cells, then it enters in the cells of epidermis. Then inner to epidermis, multi-layered cortex is present. Here the movement of water takes place through the intercellular spaces, cortex. Water enters in the cells of root hair. As a result, the cells of root hair become turgid. Okay. The movement of water through the cell membrane is called osmosis. Important. When the movement of water occurs through the cell membrane called as osmosis, or the movement of water inside the cell is simply called as osmosis. So, water enters in the cortex, then inner to cortex there is presence of one more single layer called as endodermis. Inner to cortex single layer is present called as endodermis. Then water enters inside the endodermis, and the movement of water is blocked, prevented in the endodermis. Water will pass through these intercellular spaces, here apoplast, ether, symplast pathway, one cell to another cell through plasmodesmata, symplast, apoplast, water enters inside cells of endodermis. But when the water enters in the cells of endodermis, the movement of water is blocked due to presence of Casparian strips. Due to presence of Casparian strips made up of fat suberin, important, neat switch board. So, when water enters in the cells of endodermis, the movement of water through the endodermal cell is prevented or blocked due to presence of suberized, suberin is a kind of fat, suberized Casparian strips. Hence, water will not going to pass through the suberized Casparian strip. Instead, the water will pass through the neighboring cells which are permeable to the water called as passage cells. Casparian strips are impermeable to water. Casparian strips, one more time, important, focus, more important, neat, they asked several times. एंडोडर्मिस मध्ये ज्या वेळेस वॉटर येईल त्यावेळेस एंडोडर्मिस मध्ये काही फॅटच्या सुबेरिन नावाच्या फॅटच्या लिपिडच्या पट्ट्या स्ट्रिप्स दिसून येतात. त्यामुळं सुबेराइज्ड कॅस्पेरियन स्ट्रिप्स मधून आता वॉटरची मूवमेंट होऊ शकणारच नाही, कारण की कॅस्पेरियन स्ट्रिप्स ह्या वॉटरसाठी इम्परमेबल आहे. म्हणून एंडोडर्मिस मधून वॉटरची मूवमेंट आता नेबरिंग सेल्स करतील. ह्या ब्ल्यू कलरच्या सेल्सला तुम्ही नाव काय देऊन टाकाल, पॅसेज सेल्स. हे जे रेड कलरचे आहेत हे आहेत कॅस्पेरियन स्ट्रिप्स, ते एंडोडर्मिस मध्ये प्रेझेंट आहे आणि त्याचं फंक्शन आहे की टू प्रिव्हेंट द मूवमेंट ऑफ वॉटर थ्रू द सेल्स ऑफ एंडोडर्मिस. ओके, राईट. and then water enters in pericycle, याच्यानंतर then in the xylem and phloem. So inner to endodermis there is presence of single layer, again we will discuss later, called as pericycle. Inner to endodermis there is presence of pericycle, and then conducting strands, that is xylem starts and then xylem originates. Okay, conducting strands of, yes, xylem jalvahini, and then water is entered through the xylem tissue. Okay, so one more time, water enters in the cells of root hair, then in the epidermal cells, then in the cortical cells. Water enters inside the endodermal cells. When water enters inside the endodermal cells at certain region, the movement of water is blocked or prevented due to presence of suberized Casparian strips. Suberin is a kind of fat which is impermeable to water. It do not allow the movement of water through the suberized Casparian strips. Therefore, water will not going to pass through the endodermal Casparian strips. Instead, the water will pass through the neighboring cells which are permeable. Such cells are called as passage cells. Then water will enter in the next layer, that is pericycle, and the water will be lifted against the gravity with the help of xylem. Okay, right. So, friends, we discussed till some transport movements, then energy requirement, etc. One more experiment associated with the same, then mechanism of translocation, structure of stomata, etc. we will discuss in the latter lectures. Okay. So, hope you are focusing on the study, there is no shortcut. Okay. You have to give maximum efforts to improve your academic standard. Okay. Right. Then prepare yourself to face different kinds of competitive example. Go through different kinds of books. You should have very high confidence. You should concentrate accordingly. Okay. And so certainly you should be in a highly positive state. You should be in highly positive state. So improve all the things. Stay at home. Eat healthy. Wash your hands regularly. Focus on the study. Read NCERT books several times and solve some papers, objectives at your home, and be ready to face the exam. Okay. So, in the before next lecture, I hope that you will revise the same through different kinds of books, and make sure that come in the next lecture with a fresh mind, and certainly hope you are enjoying the lectures, and so certainly it will help to make the quarantine to be more and more easy. Okay. So, thank you, great day, good day, thank you.